Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat or the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know him. But no, he knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about reality and making some noise, making a story, making sure his click stays up. That means when he puts it down, Todd's picking it up. Let's go.
Who the hell is he anyway? He never really talks much, never concerned with status, but still even him starstruck. Humble through opportunities given despite the fact that many misjudge him cause he makes a living from writing raps. Put it together himself, and the picture connects. Never asking for someone's help to get some respect. He's only focused on what he wrote. His will is beyond reach, and now it all unfolds. The skill of an artist. This is 20% skill, 80% fear. Be 100% clear, cause Ryu was ill. Who would've thought he'd be the one that set the West in flames? And I heard him wreck it with the crystal method, name of the game. Came back, dropped Megadeth, took him to church. I like Bleach, man. Ryu had the stupidest verses, dude, is the truth. Now everybody giving them guest spots and stocks through the roof. I heard him with that stock.
This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember.
Well, it seems that the Second Row Podcast has returned to your devices, to your living room, to wherever you see the Second Row Podcast at on your social media. We are there. Tonight, guys, girls, it's a special edition of the Second Row Podcast. We got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things that need to be talked about. And I couldn't think of no one better than the Apex Dante Smiley to join me tonight for the Second Row Podcast. Now, before we get into Dante and what is fixing to take place, and when I say what is fixing to take place, very huge things, man, very huge things. And leading the train for that, none other than Dante Smiley. 2 weeks ago on a Saturday night, we were at the Sports Garden in Dallas, Texas, Coppell, Texas. I was in the fight of my life, man. After 8 months of just straight up having to bite my tongue, having to chain my own hands by the powers to be, something was unleashed. And when I say it was unleashed, it's not unleashed in the way that a lot of folks are thinking that I'm presenting this, okay? So let me make it clear to you. The match I was involved in was against DeAnthony Price. I was fixing to end Anthony Price, and his little goon, Eliza, jumped in, and, well, that didn't end too well. And the reason why I say that is because I lost that match, okay? At the end of that match, I was hit across the head with a chair. Being hit across the head with that chair, the doctors described it as most men would die. For that very reason, I'm now permanently deaf in my right ear. The doctors have told me, man, I wouldn't try to do that again because it could be the last time. I'll have that video for you guys soon for you to check out. I don't mind I don't mind showing it. D'Anthony Price, screw you, kid. I don't mind showing it on the airways because, for the simple fact reason, it kind of sort of needs to be said. I don't see me ever being able to have another wrestling match. But that doesn't stop these from getting thrown. If I'm provoked, I'm going to throw them. Well, I was pretty provoked. I'm just going to say that. The end result of all of that was even provoking more. I don't have to have a wrestling match to be a fighter. Plain and simple. I am a fighter. Regardless of any aspect in this world has to offer, I'm a fighter. Plain and simple. And with that being said, I want you, D'Anthony Price, to understand something. I'll see you over here in the comments, popping off at the mouth. I see you. Yeah, I know, son. I know. But here's the thing around is I didn't F around and found out. You F'd around and found out, because if it would have been for your little goon, your little butt would have got beat. Your little butt would have got beat. You'd have got beat by an old man, D'Anthony Price. An old man, because I was beating your ass, kid. Straight up. There wasn't nothing that you was doing, man, to me that was mind-blowing. Yeah, mind-blowing. I'm going to say mind-blowing. But what you did was you resulted to something even more sinister. And me, myself, believe in sinister deserves a karma. Ask your boy Javante Williams if it does not deserve karma. Okay? And I told you that there was no place on the face of this planet that you would ever be safe from these hands, D'Anthony Price. That now also goes for Javante. Gabe XL, you big bullheaded. Yeah, that goes for you too. And Nate Lawson, that goes for you too. Now, with that being said, and y'all probably need to ask your boy Javante what happened to him this past weekend. But with that being said, I'm going to say this. Eventually, down the road, somewhere again, D'Anthony Price, you're going to see me. You're going to see me. You're not going to like what you see, but you're going to see me. So I'm going to leave that at that. For now, once I get the video package uploaded, I'll put it on the air for you guys to see. But with that being said, I'm going to slide that out of the way now, because that's actually not what we were here for, but that needed to be said so D'Anthony Price knew what was coming for him. I want him to always be able to have them eyes in the back of his head, and I promise you he doesn't.
Hey, Joey, real quick before you get too much off that topic. First off, as the OIWA Universal Champion, I do want to commend you on the match that you had. You took that loss to the chin, but you gave a hell of a fight throughout that match. You know what I mean? So you deserve a lot of props for what you did on that Saturday at the Sports Garden, regardless of what happened. You know what I mean? A lot of people get caught up in the wins and losses and stuff like that. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Everybody always definitely wants to win, but at the end of the day, sometimes you can learn some very valuable lessons, throughout losses and whatnot. I think that's something, that you did. I don't think it's necessarily one of those things where it's like, if anybody else has a problem, we can handle it in the streets as well. You know what I mean? Because I think you showed everything that you need to show already, regardless. You know what I mean? You're one of the greatest refs in the United States, if not the whole world. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man.
As somebody who's, as somebody who has had you ref a lot of their matches, you know what I mean? Your value is wrapped up a lot in that, you know what I'm saying, as far as the wrestling business goes, and you've helped a lot of these future refs and whatnot, and you showed them what they're able to do when they get picked on enough. You know what I mean? It was like the bully situation between you and Price. And both of y'all threw y'all jabs. You know what I mean? Don't get it twisted. You ain't unscathed in the situation of throwing shit at D'Anthony Price either. You know what I mean? We're going to keep it 100 on that. But at the end of the day, you didn't let yourself just continue to get bullied, and you put them dukes up, and you threw down when it was time to throw down. So I just definitely commend you on that. And also, if people do want to watch the match, you know, it is on the OIWA Worldwide. It was one of those matches that was aired on OIWA Worldwide. So if they go to YouTube, type in OIWA Worldwide, they'll definitely find that match and, you know, see what you and Price did on that. And also, lastly, as far as this goes, I know you mentioned Nate Lawson, you mentioned Gabe Excel, you mentioned D'Anthony Price, and you mentioned the X Factor Javante Williams. Outside of them being in a group now, you know what other group they're also in, Joey?
What group is that?
That group of people that lost to Dante Smiley. That's the group they're in. It is. All four of them. They in that group too. Welcome to the Second Row Podcast.
That was good, brother. I swear to God, that was good.
Yeah. They had the Trap City Trio, but they also in that group that got whooped. They ass whooped by Dante Smiley as well.
But you're so right, brother. They're definitely in that group because, just like you said, they've all failed to Dante Smiley. They all haven't been able to compare to Dante Smiley. Now, that doesn't say with that has happened and what the doctors recommend that I'm going to stop refereeing, because that's never going to stop. As long as I'm able to walk, put on my jersey, put on my pants, put on my boots, brother, I'm going to the ring. I'm going to the ring to do my job. And I do that very well, as you stated. And I'm not shooting my own horn. I do that very well. Now, and reffing a lot of your matches, Dante, I've seen so much growth, especially the growth out of you that I look for in a lot of people, man, but they never seem to muster. They never seem to get themselves to that level. And it was like from the first match I repped of yours, brother, to just the last one, that the growth is still growing. You're still learning. You're still the communicating king, if you will, as far as learning the game. And when I say a communicating king, the knowledge that you spill to the Bumps and Bruises guys, man, this past week at Chaotic Kingdom in Cabot, Arkansas, dude, I've seen one of the best shows ever out of the Bumps and Bruises guys.
Good.
I cannot. That was a top-notch show. They have really come a long way. Really have. From the first Bumps and Bruises show to where they're at right now. They have really come a long way. I can only commend Jason Maldonado, Jessica, AJ. Man, what can you say? I don't know what you can say about AJ. That wouldn't be the truth. That kid is amazing. Him too have fallen to Dante Smiley, but he's not in one of those clubs. He's building his own mansion as he goes, so to speak. But for Dante, man, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome in right now. And he's done spoke, and he really doesn't need an introduction, that man. He's just that man. And that is the apex, Mr. Dante Smiley. Dante, welcome to the Second Row once again, my man.
Yeah, man, it's good to be back. You know, there's nobody that should have the opportunity for this show to return after being on a little hiatus hiatus outside of myself. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I was one
that
of
is
the very
exactly
first
right.
ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it was time that the show make a return. And what better way to do it than leading into a doubleheader weekend where we have a lot of people from other countries coming in, people from Fight Back Wrestling out in Germany, people from Contract Pro Wrestling out in the UK coming to the United States to try to stake their claim in some of the treasures that we have over here in the OIWA. So it's going to be a great weekend of wrestling.
Man, it's going to be a huge weekend of wrestling. We're doing a double shot. We're doing Saturday at the high school in Welcome, Texas,
Yep.
and we're doing Sunday back in Dallas at the Sports Garden in Copel, Texas.
The return of Dean
dude.
Fleming. Sunday's the return of Dean Fleming. Dino. Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen Dean Fleming in a minute, man. I mean, he's
been
just,
a little bit.
I mean, I don't know what he's been doing. He hasn't much communicated with anybody other than to state that Sunday he makes his return to the Dallas Fort Worth area at the Sports Garden in Copel, Texas. And brother, I'm going to be able to be there Saturday. I won't be able to be there Sunday. I have to work.
That's all good.
And I'm going to have to miss Sunday. But as for this being a double shot and Dante Smiley pretty much headlining both shows, how do you feel about that, brother? You're carrying the weight of the world, man.
Well, I mean, I carry the main title, so it's my job.
I mean, I get that, man, but
it's my job.
Somewhere in the back of Dante's mind, Dante is, and sometimes do you feel like you don't have to toot your own horn? You hear, you don't have to say anything, Dante. You hear it from your peers like Sir Mo or Josh Alexander or Austin Aries. You hear it from your peers, brother, so much, but in the back of Dante's mind, he knows that he's the man. He knows that there's nobody that can touch Dante Smiley. I want to know, bro, what's that like in the back of your mind to know that everybody, you're living in their brain rent free, bro?
I mean, it's really one of those things where, for me, myself, like, I know what I bring to the table. I fully understand what I have in my tank. I understand the work that I put in and out the ring, in and out. And not only that, but like in the sense of like working out, doing the little stuff on the outside and then wrestling. But even, the behind the scenes stuff with students and just being a leader and getting the name out there and getting the brand out there. You know what I mean? I'm OIWA to my core. And a lot of people, quite frankly, the way I look at it, ain't willing to genuinely sacrifice and deny a lot of other things for the one main cause, which is the OIWA. And I am willing to do that. You know what I mean? I'm 10 years into my career. So I've done a lot of the local stuff. Everybody gets enamored by getting all around Texas or getting all around Florida or getting all around Louisiana or whatever their home state is, wherever anybody comes from. You know what I mean? But the real game ain't that. The real game is getting outside the country, getting around domestically in the United States, not just working all around Texas. I don't want to be a Texas wrestler. That's not what I was ever here to do, which is why that's not who I am today.
Right.
The vision that I had was the vision of getting out there and spreading the wings and soaring like an eagle, like I'm doing now. But a lot of people get locked up in that, being the fanciest man in the state. I don't give a shit about that. You know what I mean? I want to be one of the best wrestlers in the United States. I want to be one of the best wrestlers in the world. The only way that you can claim that is by getting around the United States and getting around the world. Not wrestling in your home state week in and week out for 10 years strong and never getting out to a whole bunch of other places, whether anybody likes hearing that or not. And there's nothing against anybody that's working all across the state, because I'm here to celebrate everybody that's out there making money and living out their dream at the end of the day. But to say you're the best, to say you're one of the top guys, to say you're over, to say you got it, to say whatever it is on the realm of being egotistical or overly confident or just enough confidence to be able to say that stuff, you have to really be out there doing the thing, going to another country that you ain't never been in and getting yourself over, where you come out and you get the boos, or you come out and you get the cheers. You know what I mean? Going to another state and, you know, defending the title against one of their champs or one of their former champs, one of their top guys, and having that same thing happen. Once again, you come out. By the end of it, you get in the chairs if that's what you need to be shooting for, get in the boos if that's what you need to be shooting for. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get comfortable with being over at the home promotion, and that doesn't tell you you're over. What tells you over is getting out there and being over in a place where you walk in as the unknown, but walk out as one of the top wrestlers from that company after working for it one time.
Boom. See, and folks, I want you to understand that the information that Dante just gave, this is the same information that he gives a bunch of Bruiser students. Now, those guys have paid to get that knowledge, and there's so much more. That's just a small glimpse of the knowledge that comes from this young man, and he's only 10 years in the business. 10 years. Man, I know guys that's been in this business for 20, 25 years that have not done what this man has done. And that alone, coming from me, is saying a whole hell of a lot. Because I've seen so many just constantly fall short. I'm not just knocking anybody. I've fallen short. I promise you. It's nothing nice. You kick yourself, but when you're a different animal like Dante, that's the reason why, folks, when we say real life ain't no gimmick, this is the guy that we're talking about. Dante Smiley. This is the man that we talk about right here. If you don't know this man, you need to go check out his social media. I want him to plug something for me right now. This man owns a fitness center. He does CrossFit. Dante, please.
You know, fitness. When a lot of people look at this is how I look at fitness versus a lot of other people, especially in the wrestling business. Right. When I was coming into business, my trainer, Anthony Black, shout out to my man, Anthony Black. Anytime something big has happened in my career, he's one of the first people I message to let know. I still communicate with him on a relatively regular basis, you know, just always making sure he remembers how much I appreciate everything that he's done for me, and Ty as well. Cause you know, me and my former tag partner, Ty Wilson, came in at the same time. But when I came into the business, Tony, I remember there was one training probably 2 or 3 weeks into training, you know what I mean, in early 2014. And he looked at me and said, you know, like, I could tell you're going to have all the tools. I could tell you want it. You know, we were driving an hour and a half, 2 hours to the far end of, you know, Fort Worth from you know, the Colony. That's where I was coming from at the time, was the Colony, Texas, and going out there in the middle of the, you know, at 5 p.m., 6 p.m. It was taking an hour and a half, 2 hours to get, you know, where the training spot was back then. 6-7 days a week, rain, hail, sleet, snow, didn't matter, going out there to go get it. And he put a lot of time. He put a lot of effort into us, you know what I mean? Because we were showing how much we wanted it. And one day he looked at me and told me specifically that if I wanted to ever be on TV, if I ever wanted to be a star, that he could see in me, and that at that time I could obviously see in myself, because I know the type of work that I put in. So I could always see where I wanted to be. It's just going to take time and a little bit of opportunity and a whole lot of effort to be able to get there. But he told me I was going to have to gain weight. I was 145 pounds when I started wrestling. I'm weighing about 190 now, you know what I mean, at about 4 or 5% body fat. And that's because I'm a disciplined individual. Because I look at health, it was one of those things. I was unhealthy. I was spending a lot of a lot of nights staying up late and waking up early, and wasn't eating right, wasn't eating enough. Then one day I would overeat and all that kind of stuff. So my body had no kind of discipline, and that goes for a lot of people in the world that don't have a lot of discipline. And because what we got to start realizing about health, we don't need to do health and fitness for a thing. Meaning, we shouldn't do health and fitness and wellness because we want to get ready for a wedding. We shouldn't do it because we're getting ready to go on vacation. We shouldn't do it just because we want to get in better shape for wrestling or whatever else. At the end of the day, everybody should be motivated enough to where they want to take care of themselves to live longer. Like our health and us putting in fitness and the wellness of our body has to do with us living longer. Now, are there things that could come about that have nothing to do with any of that health wise that could make your body start deteriorating one way or another? Of course, life is going to happen. There's a lot of diseases out there that have nothing to do with necessarily how well you take care of your body. They just happen to come sometimes, especially a lot of different cancers and stuff that we know of, unfortunately. But everybody will give themselves a lot better chance at life, feeling better, you know what I mean, sleeping better, looking better, if they prioritize their health, wellness, and fitness, regardless of what is motivating them to do the thing, whatever, regardless of whatever the thing is that they are getting ready for, right? That should just be the extra motivation to do the thing, but it shouldn't be the reason that you're doing the thing, if you get what I'm saying. And that's why I would challenge a lot of people to really change their minds when it comes to taking care of your bodies and working out and eating right and sleeping right. And one of my favorite Bible verses is one that says, "You are bought with a price, therefore honor God with your bodies." You know what I mean? That's mind, body, and soul. That's what you watch. That's what you listen to. That's what you speak. That's what you put into your system. That's how you take care of your body. Because at the end of the day, we're all just stewards of our bodies. You know what I mean? We're spiritual beings in a human form, ultimately is what we are, and we're steward of what we carry right here. And got to make sure we do right by that in all instances. And so that's what I make sure I do. That's what I make sure other people, know, and I try to get them to understand if they're not understanding how crucial being a steward of taking care of your body is, because we're not cats, so we don't get in our lives. You know what I mean? So everything that we do ultimately matters. Everything that we watch matters. Everything that we listen to matters, and all that kind of stuff. And so we just got to do right by that. And, that's what I do when I train my clients. That's what I do when I train wrestlers. This is all stuff that I speak to them. You know what I mean? When it comes to my company, which is called Built Different Fitness. I always tell people Built Different Fitness is mind, body, and soul. And the body part is the easiest part of it. You know what I mean? I correct the mind. I could correct the body and the soul as well through the process of what we're going to do in the gym, or the process of working out with where we go stuff. They're double-headed, triple-headed sword. You know what I mean? Not sword, but kind of like a triangle. You know what I mean? I guess is really what I'm trying to get to. You know what I mean? Ultimately, the physical is here, which is the ultimate goal. Then we have the mind, then we have the body, got the spirit down here. We correct the mind and increase our strength mind-wise, and which is going to increase your spirits, you know what I mean, and make you start believing in yourself more. Through conversations with me, you're going to find something greater than you that you're going to believe in, even if it's not necessarily what I believe in, which is, God and Jesus, and the fact that he, died on the cross for our sins and walked this earth, to show us the way to be able to get into heaven, and then rose again 3 days later. Even if that's not somebody's thing, as a lot of people will say, that's not my thing. They're going to start believing something greater in themselves one way or another, because of the thing that I talk about, which is that kind of stuff, whether they use it as motivation and take the pieces that they want or whatever, which is going to cause their spirit to go up. And the more we do that and we start feeling good about ourselves and about what we're doing and about how we're looking or whatever else, that's when that physical aspect gets that much easier, for us to achieve, because it's a lifelong journey. It's not a seasonal journey. Fitness, health, and wellness is lifelong until, our souls are no longer on this earth in this physical form that we're in right now.
Man, with you speaking about the religious part, when the tribulation comes, and I believe we're in tribulation now, but when the tribulation comes, the ones, and like you just said, being a believer in the Word of God, they're just going to leave us. And the ones then that don't believe in God, I have some very disturbing news for you. If you don't believe in God, when that happens, you're still not going to be a believer. But you're going to open your eyes to the reality of everything that our Bible says. I just want to say that. So uh, let's switch some gears here for a second and move forward just a little bit, bro. This Saturday, this is going to be a if this guy that you are facing Saturday
Alex
thinks
Kane.
that he can just come in and use you as a stepping stone, I hope he understands what he is in for. He is in to face the OIWA International. Now, let me say that again. He is in to face the OIWA International Champion. Not many are prepared for that. Austin Aries wasn't prepared for it. Josh Alexander wasn't prepared for it. Tell me what makes this guy prepared for you come Saturday.
Well, let's remember the international title has now been upgraded to the universal. I'm the champion of the universe now. We ain't international before. We're taking over the whole. We're taking over the whole globe. You know what I'm saying?
Woo.
And yeah. But you know, Alex Kane, man, he's the champion in his own right, man. He's held some very major titles. You know, in the professional wrestling business out there at MLW. I know he was at once their open weight champion with MLW, and he was an MLW world champion. Two times, if I'm not mistaken, maybe once, but I think it's two times, but could be once. So, you know, Lord forgive me if I'm wrong. But you know, he's going to be no walk in the park, you know, because at this point in my career, man, everybody that steps in front of me is one of the best at what they do, from wherever they're from and wherever they're at and across this globe. You know what I mean? I'm not facing nobody stepping in front of the OIWA Universal Champion not being one of the top guys in their world. You know what I'm saying? And so it's one of them things where every match that I have now for me is a super crucial match. Every match that I have now, it just keeps obviously getting harder and harder and harder. It doesn't get easier being the OIWA Universal Champion. It gets harder. And that's how I like it, though. I like it when it's like that. You know what I mean? I like facing the best. I like people that believe they can come in and take what's mine to make it their own. You know what I'm saying? And Alex Kane is thinking just that. He's already made some posts on Instagram about, you know, becoming the next OIWA Universal Champion. You know what I mean? And don't get it twisted. I've talked my talk. You know what I mean? I told everybody to step up. I told people I don't care who it is. I don't care where it's at. I don't care what kind of match we got to have. If somebody wants a shot at my OIWA Universal Championship, they can come get all this smoke. You know what I mean? It's mask on when I pull up to the scene, as I posted the other day. And so, you know, he thinks that because he's proven it, because he's beat some of the same best people that I've beat before as well. You know what I mean? He's faced just as many, you know, at least relatively of the top guys, so to speak, that have been at major companies that have come in that I faced, that I've beat as well in his own right. I don't know if he beat them or not, you know what I mean? But I definitely know he's been in the ring with some very, very, very elite people, which he's an elite individual. And that's why the main event on Saturday night in Wascom, Texas at Wascom High School is going to be a very elite match. And I hope every student, I hope everybody that is in the earlier matches has their notepad out. I hope they have their pen out because they're going to watch a clinic is what they're going to watch. You know what I mean? So they're going to need to make sure they're taking notes because it's going to be a very elite caliber match with two of the best wrestlers that are walking in the United States and across this world right now that are going to be in that ring come Saturday night.
Well, man, forgive me if I didn't say universal, but I kind of wanted you to reiterate that because you are the universal champion for the OIWA. You do carry that bullseye on your back, if you will, and everybody's gunning for you, bro. Everybody, and it's all across this globe. Everybody's gunning for Dante Smiley.
Yeah.
Because they want to beat you. Dante, speaking of, brother, I've known you for 7 years, 8 years now. I haven't seen you beat yet, dude. That to me that's an accolade, my man. I haven't seen you beat. That's the reason why a lot of us guys, when y'all hear real life ain't no gimmick, this is the guy we're talking about. Because I've known him 7 or 8 years, and Dante, the time I have known him, has not been beat. He had to relinquish the OIWA title under his own accord.
Nate Lawson is the last person that actually beat me in the OIWA.
Really?
Yep. When I lost the SOAR championship to him, when I was a SOAR World Heavyweight Champion, he beat me in the steel cage.
How long ago has that been, Dante?
We're coming up on 4 years.
Bro, I'm just saying, I know you for 8 years.
And outside of that, I beat him twice ever since then. Because we've wrestled 2 more times. Nate Lawson 100% is the last person to beat me under the OIWA umbrella, which was in December at Soarcade in December of 2020 when he won the SOAR World's Heavyweight Champion. And that January, I lost that, got put in the tournament for the OIWA Universal Championship, for now called the OIWA Universal Championship. That next January, in January of 21. Won the title, the OIWA Universal Heavyweight Championship in January 21, and we've been running and gunning ever since.
Dude, I'm just saying, I don't guess I was either at that show or something, but I hadn't seen you beat that I know of for 7, 8 years, and that's see you beat.
I want you. I'm just a person that gives credit where credit is due, and Nate is the last person to beat me. So, and before that, it was unfortunately Bobby Horn, and Nate Lawson was the loss before that. Earlier in 2020, when Ty Wilson and myself lost our SOAR Tag Team Championships to Sermo and Nate Lawson, formerly known as the Knights of the Square Circle. Back in like that March at the very first SOAR Mania.
Now, when I came on board with the OIWA, Nate Lawson and Bobby Horn were their tag team champions, were the OIWA tag champions.
Yeah.
When I came on, that's how long ago that's been. So maybe it's not been 7, 8 years. Maybe it's been. Okay. Because they were the champions at that time.
What's up?
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I still haven't seen you beat. I'm just saying. I still ain't seen you beat, kid. So I can't. I'm just saying I have not seen you beat. So
I'm with you, yeah.
I mean, I can stand behind what I say.
I'm with you. Correct.
I haven't seen you beat, cuz.
That's your truth. That's your truth, brother.
I haven't. Now. Right. So. Now, I'm not going to say that Saturday's not going to be a fight for you. I'm not going to say that because we both know this man's background.
Right.
We've seen what he's done. I've seen a lot of his stuff in the MLW, just like I did with Jacob Fatu, man, and bless that man where he's at right now. He put in the work and it got him there. And again, I'm on the airways right now telling everybody, if you're in earshot of me, don't sleep on him. Do not sleep on him. Because you can't say you're sleeping on somebody when they're being seen.
Right.
Okay? So, and Dante's being seen everywhere. Okay? Don't sleep on this man. Don't sleep on because you're losing money if you are. Enough said on that. I give props where props are really, really due. There you go. Now, Sunday, what's the plan Sunday, my man?
I'm not sure yet.
That's
You know
what
what
I
I'm
want to
saying?
know. What's the plan Sunday?
I would expect being my history of whooping some German ass both the times that I've been out there. I'm 3-0 right now over in Germany. I would expect they're trying to come to my home country, to my company, as the Universal Champion, to try to take something of mine. You know what I mean? Because I've gone to their company and beat their champions. You know what I mean? So I know they're sending a crew over
Right.
here to make some points and make some examples out of some situations and some matches.
I'm just
So if we get through Saturday, we get through Saturday like we need
right.
to, where I'm making sure I take that beautiful title right there home. I'm going to assume that one of them are going to end up stepping up and putting out a challenge for me one way or another for my OIWA Universal Championship in Dallas, Texas. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what I expect. If I was them, that's what I would do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to expect that out of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would find somebody to step up. I would ask somebody if they wanted to step up. Hey, man, you want to be a superstar? Now you can. You know what I mean? So
They have some talent over there. They got some stars over there. I can make one of their guys very well known when he steps into that ring with me.
Right, exactly. You can make him very known or unknown. You're right.
Now being in there with me, he gonna get known.
Exactly right.
He gonna get known. Period. They ain't getting unknown. He gonna get very known. Matter of fact.
I'm just saying. There's this old school thing. There's this old school thing, Dante, that if you're a piece of shit, okay, and you're put in a ring with a veteran, okay, you can either be made a superstar or super stud. Okay? And that's the reason why I say he can either make you very well known or very well unknown.
Gotcha.
That's just that's the mentality of the old school wrestlers, okay? That's the way they are. They know what their worth is. They want you to know what their worth is as well. And I get that. And I'm behind that 100% because that's what this industry has been built on. Now, September 21st, man, you got another big show coming up, brother.
Yep.
We're going to be in Arkansas for that.
Yep.
Would you like to talk on that for a second? Talk to me.
We getting pretty far ahead, but as far as I heard right now through the grapevine, I'll be facing a guy named David Goldie, who's a very talented individual. I've known about Goldie for a while. He's done a lot of stuff. He's a Monster Factory kid. You know what I mean? Younger kid. So he got less miles on his body and got a whole bunch of hunger to make a name for himself. You know what I'm saying? And so I know that, and I'm keeping that in mind as I get through these next few matches that I have leading up to that one. So he's not, in necessarily in the back of my mind per se, but I got to get through 2 matches before that to make sure that he becomes a focus after this weekend when it comes to, being challenged for my OIWA Universal Championship. Because I'm not going to negate the things that we have this weekend, but I'll tell David Goldie, to make sure that he's sitting in his chair. If he wants to come to the shows this weekend, he's more than welcome. If not, he'll be able to watch him on OIWA Worldwide. Make sure he takes his notes because Dante Smiley is the 101. At the end of the day, Dante Smiley is the 101. So I don't care who he's faced. I don't care where he's been. I don't care what he's done. He hasn't been in the ring with me. I haven't been in the ring with him. So it's time to make some money. You know what I mean? Once again, go make a star out of somebody. Go make him real well known. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm saying.
Yep, there you go. Now, I wanted the people that are listening in to understand that where your mind focus is. Okay, me knowing you, our relationship, right? I know your mind focus, and it's not one match at a time, right? It's I've got this month, and this is who I'm facing for this month, right? And this is one at a time, one at a time. Even though I know you're here, I'm still one at a time. Don't put yourself in that place, and this is for the guys listening in. Don't put yourself in that place, man, where you try to think too far ahead. I'm just wanting Dante to speak on the next 3 weeks, man, of what he has lined up. He knows what he's got lined up. He knows where his focus is. And this was our main discussion for tonight, was the message that he was bringing for the next month. He's wanting everybody to know that he's going to make you famous. He's wanting everybody to know he's going to make you famous. Now let's go back to Saturday night. So Saturday night in Waskom, bro, what can the fans? Do you have some new merch?
New merch? I wouldn't say new merch, but I just have a reorder on some shirt. Like, man, the last show at the Sports Garden, I sold out dang near of everything. And so
that's the reason why I asked that.
Yeah, I'm reprinting some shirts. I haven't got like a new design made, but I'm reprinting my Apex shirts that has a picture of my mask. It has a picture of me and has me choking somebody out.
Hell yes. Dude, man, I can't wait till Saturday night. I hate I'm going to miss it Sunday, but I can't wait till Saturday night. Again, Waskom, Texas, man, at the high school there Saturday night. The OIWA is in the house. We're going to burn it down. And then Sunday, we're back in Coppell, Texas at the Sports Garden. 5:00 p.m., I think, is the start for that one. Am I correct in saying that, Dante?
You're correct. Yes.
Yes, 5 p.m. is the start time for that one. Folks, you still have time to get your tickets to go to one of these OIWA shows that are bringing fire with them every time they come into your building. And they're bringing stars with fire, such as our OIWA Universal Champion, Dante Smiley. Now, Dante, Saturday and Sunday, son, is going to be enough for you. And I expect somebody Sunday to really step up or try to step up into that realm that you wholeheartedly at this time control. And if I'm asking you to give them a piece of advice, what would that advice be? I don't want to take you too far ahead. Just this weekend for those 2 days, where's Dante's mind at? What monster are we gonna see?
Out of me or expect out of them?
Out of you.
Oh, like I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and that's gonna stay true. You know what I mean? I am who I am, and I don't change up for nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because once again, I'm sure of who I am. I'm sure of who I am, and there's so many facets, and that there's no one direction for Dante or one thing specific way that I wrestle in the ring, because I do all things when I'm in the ring. It's just a matter of what I want to bring out against whatever set opponent, and for what I need to do to be able to come out on top. You know what I mean? Of retaining my OIWA Universal title. But as far as whoever might challenge me on Sunday, once we get there, once I get through Saturday, whoever might step up, you asked me what piece of advice would I have from them, and it's like what I told what I told Daniel Alexandro one time. You know what I mean? I said, hey man, either you got it or you don't. Either you got it or you don't.
Yes. By God, that's what I was wanting to hear right there, because that right there is trademark Dante Smiley. Trademark.
And hey man, and like I told you, and like I said, like I told you a while back, and like I say on the beginning of my intro song, it's different up here, Joey, and it's still different. It's been different, and it's gonna stay different.
It is, bro. It is so different up there. It's so different, and you guys like Damian Wayne Costal, man, I mean, you two had one of the most classic old school matches that I have been a part of ever, I do believe. And I've worked a lot of guys. I'm talking about your Robert Gibsons, your Doug Gilberts. I mean, so many different guys that I have worked, dude, that you and Damian Wayne, I was just the whole time during that match, and I'm still going to talk about that match probably for a long time.
It's all
because
good. It was a good match.
the story I've seen in that match, man, alone was worth the price of admission.
Come on.
Not the clinic that you put on, but the story that you told. And I was so invested, even though I was the official of that match, man. Do you know how hard that was not to step back and be completely invested in that match, into Dante Smiley and Damian Wayne? A match that's been a long time in the making that a lot of folks did not get to see. I think that match needs to be played every day on the OIWA worldwide page. I think it needs to be on a rerun all day long for people to go and watch for the clinic. When they talk about, oh, I put on a wrestling clinic, blah, I can show you a real clinic. I can show you what a real one looks like. I can show you what two bulls telling a story, putting on a clinic looks like. I don't think y'all really get the picture. You say you're the clinic master, let's say that, okay? And I'm not taking nothing away from any other wrestler on the face of this planet. Man, I hope that your dreams, you keep following them, you stay true to the game, and it takes you somewhere. But if you want to see a true storytelling clinic, what it actually is supposed to look like, go check out Dante Smiley versus Damian Wayne Costal. Please. I implore you to go watch that match. I also implore you to go watch Dante Smiley versus Austin Aries. I want you to go watch another storytelling match. I want you to go watch a Josh Alexander versus Dante Smiley. A storytelling match. Watch them. Learn from it. Like he said, get your notepad out. Take some notes. I promise you, it's going to better you. It's going to better you. Just by watching what this man does. Dante, real life ain't no gimmick, my man.
I know. That's why I created it.
Real life ain't no gimmick. And that's why we talk about you, baby. That's why we talk about you. Because you're the man, dog. That's just how it is. Now, I want to give some props to Bobby Horn for a minute. Now, before we end out this afternoon, I've got to speak on this young man for a minute. Been through traumatic stuff that would kill ordinary men in the last 3-4 years. Has really had a rough time of it. Believes his wholehearted sole purpose, he believes in. It doesn't matter what it is for that day, he believes in it. He believes in his accomplishments. He believes in everything that he's accomplished accolades-wide in the world of professional wrestling. And on September also, he will be inducted into a Hall of Fame. And Bobby Horn, from us, young man, to you, brother, congratulations.
100%.
Every year we vouch, a bunch of us get on the internet and we vouch for you to go into the Hall of Fame of the WWE. We all speak on it. We tell him, man, you're wasting it. Don't let him die and then induct him. Do it while he's alive so he can see that and cherish that, because that's something that we believe he deserves. And I'm not just speaking for myself. When I say we, I'm talking about a family. The OIWA, a family I believe Dobby Horn needs a bigger, format, though. When I spoke with him, Bobby's told me this means just as much. And I get that. I really do. But I believe he deserves just so much more. Uh, Congratulations to you, young man. Very well deserved. Very well deserved. Uh, can't wait to. I'm hoping to be able to make that show in Jackson, Tennessee. Bruno's going to be there. Randy Hill's going to be there. Dundee's going to be there. You're going to have the Rock and Roll Express. There's going to be so many different people at that ceremony there, and I hope that I'm able to make that, because that would be just another dream shot for me as well. Dante, I'm just going to leave this for tonight. Come Saturday and Sunday, I know Saturday night a young man has a mountain to climb, and that mountain climbing is not easy. And the guy who is alone by himself up there, Dante Smiley, whenever he says, "Man, it's lonely up here," he's not lying. By no means. It is lonely at the top. When people say that, they understand that, and that's what they mean. Saturday night, man, this guy's got a mountain to climb. I hope Sunday some of our family from either Contract Pro or Germany Fight Back, somebody steps up and tries to challenge the Apex Dante Smiley. I know what you are capable of and what you do, my brother, and I'm wishing nothing but success for you in whatever you do. I believe that you deserve that. I believe that, again, stop sleeping on this damn boy. Stop sleeping on him. Man, there's so much money to be made. Please stop sleeping on him. Dante, I'm going to let you lead us out tonight. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm in talks with this young man right now, also creating his own podcast. I think Dante has, excuse me, I think Dante has a lot of things that he can offer the airways to individuals in the professional wrestling field that might change course for them. And it may just be one word. There's no telling what it would be that would come out of this man's mouth. The knowledge is very vast. A lot of it. Dante, lead us out, my brother.
Yeah, I haven't decided what I'm going to do as far as the podcast yet, but it's going to be something where I'm able to drop a lot of like wisdom and knowledge that goes hand in hand with life and the workspaces that anybody may be, and more specifically, obviously, the wrestling business, because that's what our stuff is all about, what our biggest fan base is about, as far as this whole Second Row podcast and the podcasts that are up under it, like Damian Wayne's, who you've had, and then obviously you're on with this one. Because I just want to be able to do that, because I want to give people a different perspective on how this stuff can be done. You know, I've gone against the grain a lot in the way that I've viewed my own journey before it happened, and then also, how I've operated. A lot of people try to go the same way. You know what I'm saying? But as scripture says, the gate that is broad and wide, everybody gets through, but that's not worth fulfillment in, and that's the easy road. It's a narrow gate that very few get in that reaches the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's very important to remember, not only from a scripture standpoint, but also from a real world standpoint. When you're chasing something like we're chasing, and there's a lot of people that are chasing that exact same carrot, you know what I mean, which is a contract with a major company ultimately. And so I want to show people that it's not the old way, it's not the new way, it's your way to be able to make it. And you got to really know and fine tune exactly what you want in your career, and stick to your guns, stick to your wants in your career, lay your own beds. If you're going to burn a bridge, don't be mad when it gets burned because you were the one that wanted to burn it. If that's the case, because all relationships ain't meant to last forever. Everything's for a reason, season, a lesson, or a blessing, one way or another. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. All money ain't good money. All bookings aren't good bookings. And I'll be able to tell people why from my own opinions, and I say opinions, but they're really not opinions because they're true to me because of stuff that I've been through. You know what I mean? So it's my opinion based off of the truth of what my journey has, entailed up until this point. But leaving people with something outside of that, 'cause I want to save that for whatever podcast. So I'll start getting deep into that kind of stuff. But that was a little, that we'll call that a little teaser trailer that I just gave right there on some of the stuff that they might hear if I had my own podcast like that. A little teaser trailer. But at the end of the day, man, with all the matches that I have coming up, we're going to Rome here in November as well. You know what I mean? That's going to be a big thing happening when we go out the country one more time before the year is over. During that Thanksgiving time frame is when we're supposed to be going to Rome. And by we, I do mean another group of OIWA individuals, because that's what we do here as the OIWA. It is not the OIWA.
That's exactly what we do.
The OIWA is not a state company. The OIWA is an international organization. And that's what people need to realize. When you come work with us, it opens the door for you to travel great waters to go face people and spread your wings as a professional wrestler and get out of the country and have a lot more opportunity, not only with the companies that are under the OIWA umbrella, but also those that we just do quick partnerships with, like the one that we did in Portugal earlier in the year, back in May, when I went out to Portugal. You know what I mean? They're not part of the OIWA, but we did some business together. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. Hearing what we're trying to do, because a lot of people kind of get that screwed up when they think about what the OIWA is. But SOAR is under the OIWA. SOAR is the Texas state promotion, but the OIWA is not a state promotion. It's an international organization, and I get to be the king, reigning on top, supreme of that, while I hold the OIWA Universal Championship. And until anybody takes it off my hands, I'm going to keep representing through every single fiber of my body the OIWA organization. You know what I mean? Because that's what I'm about. I bleed OIWA. You know what I'm saying? It's a big part of what I do. It's a big part of what I love, because I believe in the picture of what we notice that I'm not saying what we can achieve by all being part of this. You know what I mean? With Bobby and Jason kind of sitting on the ultimate helm from an organizational standpoint, from the wrestling standpoint, myself and right now Casey Lennox, the women's OIWA international champion, are sitting on the thrones as far as that goes. You know what I mean? From the in-ring standpoint of being the main champions. And I do my best to make sure I represent that with everything that I do, which is why I go to so many companies defending my title. You know what I mean? Once I get through this month of people, in October, I'm supposed to be going up to Colorado to Battleground Pro Wrestling to defend my title. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of good stuff that's going to be happening as far as our organization goes. And you mentioned, and I'm going to end it with this right here, Joey. You mentioned that that it's lonely at the top. You know what I mean? And I've been at the top of the OIWA for a very, very long time at this point. And if I have it my way and do what I know I need to do, as I always have, which is win by hook or crook or neither nor, you know what I mean? To make sure that OIWA Universal Championship comes back home with me and I stay on top. It may be lonely up here, but you'll never in your life hear me complain about the view.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about right there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great afternoon. We want to remind you again, Washington, Texas at the high school, man, this Saturday night. And then back at the Sports Garden in Coppell, Texas, Sunday. We're also going to be doing Lit around September 21st. I do believe that's that date. Be on the lookout for that too. Big things happening with the OIWA. I look forward to seeing our Contract Pro and Fight Back Germany family coming over the pond to visit us this weekend. I think that's going to be huge as well.
Yeah.
Dante, thank you for coming in tonight, my man, and hanging
Thank
with us
you.
again, folks. We're working with Dante Smiley right now on creating his own podcast, being shown right here on the Second Row podcast. But it's going to be Dante's. It's not. It's Dante Smiley. So, and we're still got, see you out there, kid, with Damian Wayne Costa. We're also in talks with Bobby Horn on doing one like that. And I have to talk with all three of you gentlemen. Um, I don't know about your relationship with Damian. I'm sure, y'all shook hands after that was over with. And hopefully that ended right there and you two remain friends because I would like to do a night of the Roundtable podcast
Yeah, that'll
presented
be
by the
good.
Second Row podcast with you
That'll be
three
good.
guys on it.
That'll be
Okay.
good.
Just to give the knowledge, and hear the promotional side, hear this part side, hear this part side. I think a lot of that information, man, would help stretch out, a lot of these younger guys that are maybe not getting what they think they should be getting from wherever they're training at or whatever that may be, help get them further along in their career to where they could possibly face somebody at the top of the mountain like a Dante Smiley.
Yeah.
Dante, again, I appreciate you coming on with me tonight, young man, and taking time away from your family to embrace us and embrace us with your appearance here on the
Got
Second Row podcast. It has been an absolute pleasure having you back on here, man, and I look forward to the things that we're going to do on the Second Row podcast with you, man. I think it's going to be huge, brother. I really do.
Most definitely. Appreciate you, Joey.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, for Dante Smiley, referee Joey Lynn, Tim, I guess his internet just wasn't cooperating tonight. But for the producer also of the Second Row podcast, you guys have a great night, man. We're out of here. All right, my brother. Leave that. Yes, we do.